We got Kevin Coalston in the building, in the kingdom.
Oh yeah. All right.
So Kevin, we've known you. We first met when your oldest son was training Julian,
No,
right?
Christian.
Christian.
Also, that was before I was
Yeah,
on.
Mm-hmm.
that was before.
Yeah, because I remember Christian training. I remember Julian training, but not Christian.
Okay, Christian was training at Lifetime Fitness. Was it Lifetime Fitness?
That was
Yeah,
it. Lifetime Fitness.
I think. And then you came a little later
A little later,
after I had been at Lifetime Fitness for a little bit, and I remember when you brought Christian, and then Julian was younger. You brought him a couple of times, and
he had braids.
Yeah, he had braids, and we were training. You were in there. You were
okay. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. That was at Lifetime.
Okay,
and we were training and just getting it. And Kevin was always so passionate and helpful. And this is when we were doing the vest and crossover, and really new into the basketball arena in the Plano, and this had to be about 20 years ago or 15
like
years
that.
ago.
Yes,
15,
15.
Yeah, at least 15 years ago. And everything was just getting started with us. You were at that time. Were you coaching?
Yeah, I was coaching school ball and basically just school ball, and I was doing a little bit with Julian's team. I really didn't have a team with Christian.
It was like was it the Crush?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It was Crush.
And so you're breaking, because since then you've done a lot has happened to you, personal and professional and what have you. But take us back to just you as a father and your sons getting into basketball, and what led you on this path. Because at that time, where were you? What was your job then?
I was just teaching and coaching school ball. At that time, I was probably either coaching at either in Ferris, probably more so in Ferris, and then Tom Bean, which is a little school right outside of Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess it's funny how I got into it, because I had said I wasn't going to be a teacher or coach or anything, because my grandmother was a teacher, my dad a teacher, my mom a teacher, my stepmom a teacher. I only have one brother. He was a teacher.
Oh, man.
And I'm I'm not teaching or coaching or doing anything. And dude, I was an accountant. That's my trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kept getting laid off when the welfare reform back. I'm a little older. Of the 90s, it was Bill Clinton had signed the bill, and I was in the healthcare industry doing, accounting. I kept getting laid off. These companies kept shutting down, kept going bankrupt. And I was like, I got to get something stable. And at this time, this is right before Julian was born. And I was like, I might need to go into teaching. That's stable.
Right.
It was a safe bet.
Right. Someone brought it up and was like, you can get what's called a deferred
teaching certificate.
Yeah, you get a teacher certificate by going back to school. I can't think of what they call it, alternative certification.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna look into it, and I did, and it just so happened that it worked out. Went to North Texas, and my first job was at Faith Family. Faith Family, and it's funny, man, because everybody knows who Faith Family is now, right?
Yeah.
Faith Family basketball was off the chain then. They were just small. At 1A school, they were going to the playoffs every year, almost making it to state, but they had to go out and play teams like La Pan, and La Pan would get them almost every year. So, but anyway, I started, that was my first job, started teaching there, and just fell in love with it. And I was like, well, obviously this is what I'm supposed to do. And, I always loved basketball. And me and a friend of mine, we joked, as a matter of fact, he used to help me get on, y'all might know him, his name is Brian Francis. We call him Juice. He used to run an organization called Texas Big Dogs. He had a little son named BJ, went to Waxahachie. that BJ Francis a couple years
It
ago.
doesn't ring a bell.
Well, he played for Showtime.
Okay.
He was the point guard for Showtime, and well, he was in the financial stuff also. And I talked him into going into teaching, and he was like, "No, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it." But he didn't get a job. And on my first day, the principal say, "Your friend still need a job?" I was like, "Yeah." And well, see if he want to come. I called him. He came up there. They hired him on the spot. He's now assistant superintendent for Trinity Basins, the Triple A's.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that for the longest. And what I'm getting to is, I was the only coach in the state of Texas. I was a JV coach that had a full-fledged assistant. He was my assistant. Yeah, I'm a JV coach with an assistant.
Yeah.
Oh man, when we used to travel, it was just funny, and it kind of got me locked in more so to the coaching. And my brother at the time was coaching at Waco Robinson, so I had resources, that I could pull in, and I just started pulling them in, and honestly, my brother knew everybody. So it just trickled off to me. Then now I'm knowing people all in Waco, all in Houston, just off the top. So I had the resources, so I was able to do good things, I guess, for the kids.
Yeah.
And then it became more of a quote ministry for the kids. From that point, and then I was like, this is just too good. And so that's a little bit of how I got into it.
Okay. And then that's a beautiful thing, because your ministry typically chooses you.
Right.
And so even if you try to run from it, you try to duck and dodge it, but you get involved, and then you can't imagine life doing anything else. Exactly. And so it's awesome that you have done this for such a long time and have impacted so many lives.
Right.
And now you have Texas Sports Association. So talk about that business, that organization, the things that you guys offer to the community.
Well, Texas Sports Association, it's an event hosting entity, but we mostly do basketball right now. We really want to venture off into the baseball, softball, football, flag football, more so than tackle, and and just have the kids to be involved. And the thing that I always tell people is, we are not competing with anyone. And we don't want to compete with anyone. We want to gain our own niche. And what I always do is look for the need, what's needed. And I'll just be honest, around here, in my personal opinion, what's needed is some what's the word? Y'all help me out.
The structure?
Yes. Okay. Need real structure, because these youngsters and these parents are, I hate to say it, are being bamboozled and hoodwinked. Okay. Just to be honest. And I mean,
in regards to
everything. And y'all been knowing me for quite a long time. And most people that know me and that stay around me know that I'm pretty straightforward.
Right. It's important.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not going to I'm not gonna try to trick you. I'm not gonna try to deceive you. I'm just who I am. I'm straightforward, and either you like it and move on, or you don't like it and move on. But I think we're doing a big disservice as a whole to the youth of our communities, and we just need to uplift them and get them to understand that sports is a tool. And sometimes we're giving these people a dream that's not realistic. And I get it that you give someone a dream and people go out their dream and they believe in it, but you're being unrealistic with these people, and I don't think that's fair to the people, and it's really not fair to kids, because I know we hear it all the time. Kids are our future. And they really are, because at one time we were kids, and now we're adults in the future.
In leadership positions.
And if we're not groomed and grown the right way, then it's going to cause a disconnect, which is what's going on now. There's really a disconnect. Well, which is what has been going on. It does appear like things are coming back together as a whole within our communities, but but we still have a long way to go. So with Texas Sports Association, I'm just trying to give people another alternative, and a cost-effective alternative, as well as a platform. I really don't want to use the word platform, but that is what it is. A platform where they can have fun and they can enjoy themselves and not be in this rigmarole of everything is tug at you. I got to do this and it's just here. No, it's a game. It's a sport. Have fun. And I believe personally that when you leave an event, and people can tell you when they leave our event, coaches are happy, parents are happy, players are happy, and that's because we have a zero tolerance about everything.
Yeah.
We're probably the only organization that's actually kicked the referee out. And you guys know I'm a referee.
Right,
I'm an official. Yeah. But we had a referee. He just wasn't acting right.
Yeah.
And we told him, man, you got to go.
This is at during the game or after the game?
During the game.
Oh, really?
Yes, but we didn't do it in front of,
Yeah.
We just waited till a timeout, but because some fans came and told us, and we like, well, like we do anything else. Okay, we'll go pay attention. We'll get to go watch it. And it was the truth.
And they were right.
And we, we said something to him, told him, we can't do this, and this is not what we're about. And he gave us a little friction, and then he walked out, but he continued. And that's not good. And that's not what it's about. It's about enjoyment for all. Because at the end of the day, coaches work hard, just like you guys coach.
Right.
And I tell all officials, we're there with your team for 1 to 3 hours in a weekend. The same kids that you're with, maybe 1 to 3 hours, 3 times a week. So you have, this is your livelihood, this is your passion, and this is what you do. So I get it. And sometimes, you get a little bit, I don't know,
excited and
passionate.
Yeah,
the passion comes out. Different people do it
in different ways. Yeah.
But there's a way for us to tone it down, and that particular coach still have fun. You've been out there. You've seen some of the rudest coaches. Period. Right. Those same coaches come to our events. We have no issues because before they escalate, we're right there. Come on, coach. We're not going to do that here.
Yeah.
Well, this and that. Yeah, but coach, just like he may have missed that. Okay. But, don't be on him like that. Just talk to him. He's a human being just like you are. And everyone wants respect, or everyone says, they want respect. Give me respect. I respect you. Okay. Well, let's be respectful and let's be like that. And most of the time they turn around. You right. You sure right.
Yeah. My
bad. You right. And I'm like, don't do that in front of the kids.
Right.
And they kind of pick it up and they kind of understand that. And then when they leave, they're like, man, I like what you're doing. We coming back. And that's the whole thing. And it's not, we don't charge as much as everyone. Now, I understand it's a business. We want to make money.
Right.
But we don't have to make a super killing. And plus, the main thing, if you have longevity,
consistency.
It's that slow grow, that slow grind.
Right. That slow grind and that continuous grind. It's just like working on a job. You work on a job. Your first year on the job, you can't buy a house or a car, but you keep working that job for 5-10 years. Then you build. Now you can invest in a house. You can invest in the car of your dreams or your choice. It's the same thing.
Right. But so let me stop you right there, because I think that answers everything else that I was thinking as you were talking. I feel like people don't want to go through the process. I feel like they want it now. Right. They want to start an organization today and then wake up tomorrow and have 20 teams.
Right.
And then those 20 teams produce 30 Division I players. I mean, they want the success now. And that passion, it shows in the passion. We got to get it now. We got to win now. We got to do this. We got to do that. So talk about, am I right? It's like, what are you seeing as to why they're not having good experiences in those other spaces? Is it too competitive? Is it too trying to have the top third grade team? Like, why isn't it fun anymore? Like, why isn't it wholesome? Like, why is it so cutthroat and aggressive in these events at an early age?
I think it's a couple of factors to me. One is, like I said earlier, you're misleading your patrons.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is they're telling these parents and these kids that you come to me, we can do this, we can do this, I can do this for you, and I can do that for you.
Right.
Well, just me, myself, honestly, y'all know my son, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
When I had him and his team, right,
y'all were like the coldest.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. For real, yeah.
We were cold.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. One year, this is the truth. We said we'll play anybody, anywhere, except for the Texas Titans and Southern Assault.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's just being real.
Yeah.
We like them, but we'll play them. We ain't running.
Right.
But, and Big E, rest his soul.
Yeah.
Big E put something on Twitter about us. He said, y'all do not want to see North Texas crush.
Mm.
They are some dogs, and they play the right way.
Mm.
And we never get into it with anyone. We go all over the country, and they say, y'all have the best fans in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we started getting free invitations to tournaments because they were like, y'all come back anytime for free. Your parents don't complain. They don't bark at the officials.
Mm-hmm.
After the game, win or lose, they are cordial. And that's because we said it to them like that. If they want to bark at the officials, they got to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, with you acting all crazy, your child is on the bench. Look at my daddy. Mm-hmm. Look at my mama just acting over that stupid. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that's embarrassing to our organization.
And it takes away from their performance.
It takes away from their performance.
Right.
So to get back to what you were saying is, so we told them, legitimately, this is who we are, and we're here for these kids to have a good time. And we want them to learn and get better. We had no ranked players on our team. Ever.
Mm.
And 3 or 4 end up playing college ball.
Mm.
But we worked that out. And what's even worse is if I would have known then what I know now, it's not anything about telling them what they can do and what I can do for them. It's about me doing what I can do for them. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay. But at that time, I didn't know what I should be doing. And most of these coaches out here don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones that have these ranked teams or whatever, they just have good kids playing for them, and they may be decent trainers or whatever.
But they figured out the art of recruiting.
They have the art of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're watching, are their kids going to college?
Mm-hmm.
Are their kids actually being recruited like you recruited them?
Right.
Do you,
man, that's
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's not really happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
because they're really not getting better.
They're not getting better.
Yeah.
And the coaches, they really don't know how to get the kids in college.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that you guys and I discussed. And instead of them asking someone to help them, they just leave their kids and their parents high and dry.
Right.
Because they want to control the flow of.
Well, they want I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it. Instead of, to me,
they want to feed their ego.
They want to feed their ego. That's a good way of putting it. But to me, I've always felt like it takes a village to raise a community. And what I mean by that is we talk about doing this for our community, for the youth of our community, doing this for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, you by yourself or me by myself can't do anything for our kids.
Yeah.
It takes help and assistance to do something for our kids. I look at some of these kids and I'm like, why you don't have your kid to go over here?
Yeah.
Go over there, go to this school or go to, things like that, just to better the kid.
And using the resources. And so you're already getting ahead of me because that was one of the main questions I was going to ask you, being a person who's been in the school district and different schools, and me and Rod always had this conversation, is why don't the coaches partner with the trainers?
Right.
Why don't they partner with the AAU coaches? Why don't we all and partner with the parents? Why is it always such a, this is my program, I don't want anybody else involved, I don't want the parents involved? But it's like that, to me, I feel like that's a bit extreme. Like, leave your parents with me. But me, I'm like, everybody needs to have a seat at the table.
Right.
Parent, trainer, AAU, head coach, and we all need to put all of our everything that we can do, all of our resources that go to the center for the betterment of the kid, versus I'm going to do this for him and I'm going to try to control everything that he does, and I don't want him working out with this person and I don't want him over there. So I want you to unpack that. And of course, where you are now, you're experiencing, a coach and a program who advocates for other trainers, who advocates for other AAU teams. So you're in a better situation. But discuss, why don't coaches want the partnerships and relationships with the trainers? Why is this such a taboo? Why is it such a negative connotation when it comes to, oh, you're working with that guy, you're playing for the AAU team? No, you need to do this, cut off all the. Why is that seem to be the sentiment when it comes to this industry?
Well, honestly, this may sound funny or crazy. It's hard for me to answer that because I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes it's integrity, and I don't like to. Well, y'all know me. I never downgrade anyone, but sometimes I don't want to say it's the character of the person, but maybe it's the mindset more so. Let's say mindset, and just like I'm just sitting here thinking when you were talking, I'm thinking, as long as y'all know me, right? And y'all basically know my youngest son, Julian, his whole life, right? I coached him basically his whole life. He also played with Coach Al, Texas Rebels League. I think he came and played with y'all. But what I'm getting to is, the whole time, Julian came and trained with y'all, and I coached him till he was a senior in high school.
Right.
Think about that. So he trained with y'all. He trained with Tyler Ralph. He trained with Terrell Harris. He trained with Kyle Duncan.
Okay.
He trained with Alvin Pierce. And I mean, and when I say that, it's not like once or twice.
Yeah.
He consistently trained with all of y'all. And the point that I'm making is that my integrity is like, what's best for my child, my players. Like I had another kid, Thomas Van Trier. He trained with this guy Skip. I can't think what Skip's whole name is. Tyler Ralph. Like 4 or 5 different people. They come and ask me, and I'm like, if I know them, I tell them the truth. I've lost players. I got Marvin Mims, who's about to go to the NFL. He's a football player now in Oklahoma. But we thought Marvin was going to go to school for basketball. Marvin played with me. Julian Larry, who's at Illinois State, played with me. Chase Ross, who's at Marquette, played with me. But all of these kids were above my level. So, they parents like, well, I think we need to go over there. I'm like, sure, I think so too. I can't do, I can't do any more for them. I would love to have them. Oh yeah. And they can always come play here because they're good.
Right.
But I wasn't too, and really the only reason why my own son didn't go somewhere else was because he didn't want to. I wanted him to, but he didn't want to. I'm like, you can play with me, rec or something, but then go over there and play, where you should be. But he just didn't want to. So back to your question is, I just believe that, I'm gonna put it like this. Maybe they just don't understand the dynamics of it and understand that it's not about now. It's about when these kids grow up and become young men, and then they have kids, they turn around and they can tell you, thank you, coach. I appreciate what you did for me, and I understand. And instead of, I want the glory, because the glory is not about us as an individual. Right. In a couple of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know y'all know what I mean by giving the glory. Yeah. It's not about us. And when you're coaching, it's about the kids.
Right.
you know, and as far as when I'm coaching, I tell people all the time, I don't do anything for the kids except for give them a pattern of which are like drills, but it's up to the kid to do the drills and to excel at the drills. I could know them backwards and forth, but if I was that good, then every kid that walk in would just skyrocket.
Right.
But it's not that. It's because that kid has athletic ability. It's really that kid. Excuse me. It's really that kid that's making him who he is.
Yeah, for sure.
More so than me.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why you should always give the kudos to the kids. You know, oh man, you did well with that kid. No, that kid did well working himself.
Yeah, because you can give them the 5 steps of success, but the kid actually put it into place.
Exactly.
And do it over and over again. And what we always say, I mean, as coaches, we can only do so much about pouring into you. Your parents can only invest so much into you. Right. But at the end of the day, you have to do the work. You have to be disciplined, diligent, you know what I mean, and staying locked in to the process that it's not about now, right? It's not about now, and it takes time. And the fact that you were able to champion that to be able to ultimately get to where you want to get to, that's what it's all about. And you deserve to be celebrated because you stood the test of time.
Right. That's what I believe. And so I just think that these coaches just at some point believe that it's more about them and their organization than the kids.
Right.
And I know you've, over the years, even, you know, there's been a time where we didn't communicate. We were training, you were coaching, we were just both each on our grinds, and people would come and say, yeah, Kevin Coalston sent me, or Kevin sent me, Kevin who? And it's you sending us athletes over the years, and we're not even in touch with each other. You know what I mean? Which is a blessing. So that's a testament to you and how you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And how you think of the athletes.
Exactly.
And it's been several instances where we've had that happen. Oh, yeah. You know? Good. And so as reffing, how long how'd you get into reffing?
Well, when I was in college, I got into refereeing for 2 reasons. First off, my dad refereed for like 40 years. There's a gentleman now who gives the referee camps. His name is Tony Stigliano. He's the one around here that puts everybody on for college.
Right.
Well, Tony and my dad were like best friends. They started refereeing the same year. And when people find that out, they're like, man, so why you don't do college? Why you didn't, you know? And I'm like, gosh, that wasn't me.
Right.
It wasn't me. And like my dad was back in the day there was Southwest Conference. My dad, although he didn't do too many because of where we live, it was the logistics was hard for him to get to the game. He would have to drive like 3 hours to Dallas or to Houston to catch a flight to get to the game. He just he was like he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But he got me into officiating because it was extra money. And that's how I really got into it. I was in college. So I set my schedule to where when they give tournaments, I'm off in the morning.
Right.
Where these adults, they have to go to work. So I'm like, shoot, I can make that money. And so in the tournament season, on Thursday and Friday morning, I was eating. I was eating. And I did 2 games here and leaving. I was in East Texas. So, you know, tournament here, go 30 minutes down the road, it's another tournament. Out there 4 games.
Right.
Shoot, man, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And in college, you're a kid in college, boy, that's lovely. Yeah.
And that's how I got into it. And then when I got up here in the Dallas, it was just extra money. And, you know, I started, you know, doing the school ball and up here because at first, when I first got here, I didn't do school ball because of my job. But then when I got to doing school ball, it just got better and I just got into it and, you know, I love it.
So being a ref and a coach, and it's just, that piques my interest. Like, did that change your coaching style with you being a ref? Because you were a coach first, and then you started reffing, or which one came first? You were reffing in college.
Yes, I was a referee first.
Okay.
But yes, it did change. Uh, well, I guess it did. I actually got in trouble.
Okay.
With UIL when I was coaching, and it was unwarranted, but at the same time, I guess it was warranted. What I mean by that is, I got kicked out, and if you get kicked out, you got to go talk to him in person.
So it was a UIL game?
It was a UIL game.
Okay.
But I shouldn't have gotten kicked out. Well, for what I did, I shouldn't have gotten kicked out. They may should have kicked me out, 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
But, and then from that point, it actually changed the way I coach. Because even when I went down there and talked to him, like I told him, yeah, I was a little bit this, but, according to the rules, this and that. And they told me, well, looked like you was trying to referee and not coach. I was like, no, I was coaching, but I just wanted to be refereed the right way. And they were like, but you referee, you should know, and I was like, yeah. And they were like, but you weren't refereeing that game. And when they said it, I'm like, well, I guess you're right. Then I need to respect
the etiquette of
the etiquette of officiating and the game.
Right.
And so from that point on, I kind of get it. And even when I'm officiating, I think about me coaching. And let's be honest, as an official, I miss calls.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And right after it, I'm like, oh man, I missed that. But then the coach is like, he fouled him, this and that, And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm human. I missed that.
Right.
And I even to the point now where I tell the coach, I missed that one.
Yeah. And that's respected. Like the best refs that I've ever had, one, they're approachable. You can have a conversation with them. There's no power struggle.
Right.
If they make a mistake, they say, I'm human. Coach, you're right. Yeah.
I owe you one.
I owe you one. You know what I mean? It's an experience, and it's not such a hierarchy of you can't talk to me and respect. Yeah, I mean, we're here to respect the game first. And then in respecting the game, you respect all the people that are involved. So I understand as a ref, you have your position. As a coach, I have mine. The players have theirs. Parents, everybody involved has to play their part in respecting the game, in respecting the people.
Right.
So can you talk about what are some etiquettes? What are some things that as coaches we should know, as parents we should know on how to conduct ourselves and how to kind of flow through the game in order to help it be a better experience overall?
Okay. Actually, and that's what we do with our tournaments. There's a thing that whenever something's going on or there's some type of confusion at our events, I always talk to whomever it may be, coaches, referee, spectators, everything from even when you come in the door. There's a thing called order. ORDER. Everything is governed by order. And so, as a coach, what are your what's the word? What's the saying? Rules of order or something? It's a saying where they talk about putting stuff in
order.
In order. Well, as a coach, okay, it's for you to do what? Coach your players, motivate your players, put your players in the best position to succeed and to compete to win the game. You're not there to badger the officials, to bark at the score table or at the scorekeepers, which in most events outside of sanctioned scholastic events
or parents
or volunteers or youngsters that it's not someone's specific
job.
Right.
So
they're not getting paid to keep.
Or if they are, it's a kid, and a kid, they're not gonna be super responsible.
Well, have you ever kept score of the game?
Oh no, for that reason.
Yeah. But you have to be focused.
Yeah, you gotta be focused.
I messed up at
you have to care about the game to do it.
I messed up at a school game this year.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for years.
Right.
I messed up keeping the score at the school game this year. And my point is that's gonna happen.
Right.
And you know what? Coaches didn't say anything. And the coach turned to the fans and say, he's getting it.
But they almost expect you to not make mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, a coach should make a mistake, a ref should make a mistake, and the score table should not make a mistake.
But that falls into the realm of having order.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everybody that has something to do with our events. Fall into order. Just like then we tell the officials, you don't have to argue with a fan. You don't have to do anything. Just ignore them. Now, if they get too belligerent or too out of order, then you just stop the game and you come get us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to you to tell them, you need to be quiet, I'm going to kick you out.
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah.
That now you're out of order.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then you do what you're supposed to do. You follow your rules of order, and then you come get, who's ever administrative over the gym, and let them handle what they're supposed to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is, because if the official turns and says it, now it's confrontational.
Right.
But if I come up there, hey man, calm it down for him. He's getting a little too belligerent.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit too out of order, and he's taking it. He's taking it to heart. So there's a thing called order.
Right.
We just need you to be in order. Don't let your child see you act like that.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
And most times they be like, "You right, my bad. I did get a little loud."
And they'll
Right.
still stop. I mean, but do refs understand? And I could be wrong, that fans yelling at them is a part of the game. Like, it's almost become a part of the game. Like, so, and how are they trained to handle that?
Well,
without taking it personal and penalizing people or saying,
Kicking them
I'm
out.
gonna throw you out. Like you have to understand, as long as they don't put their hands on you, throw nothing, they're at free liberty to yell and say whatever they want. Am I right? They can say that's a bad call, blah 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 blah,
right.
to a certain degree.
Okay.
Now, until it crosses the line of harassment.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And becoming personal, probably.
Exactly. And lots of times you can fend that off as an official.
Okay.
And yes, we are trained of how to react to that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we're trained to not react. To not react.
Yeah.
I hear people saying stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they never know I hear it because I just keep moving. I don't even look. But I'll be hearing it.
Right.
And sometimes they're like, "Ref, you hear me? Yeah, you hear me. I know you hear me." And I still don't. And I just be thinking, yeah, I do hear you. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I'm like, and you right about that one.
Yeah.
But I never say anything.
Right.
Because at the end, what we are taught is, at the end of the day, you're in control.
Yeah, you are.
So if you're in control, you don't. There's
no need to.
There's no need.
Right.
There's no power struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and that's the way I take it, there is no power struggle because I am in control.
Right.
And by me being in control, I know that. So I'm good with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I don't have to show my power.
Yeah. Because at any given day, I can stop this game.
Right.
Right.
And there's no question.
And there's no question. Yeah.
And when you do that, it's just it becomes so easy. It's really easy.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a game before, and this is not a school game, but I've had I still remember it was at Grapevine Fieldhouse. It was one early morning, and when I tell you, I was having the worst game ever as an official.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I just turned, and the crowd was on me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd was on me a little bit, and I just turned and looked at them and said, I am totally off this morning.
Yeah, and now they probably laughed.
They all laughed.
Broke the ice. Yeah,
They laughed and say, "Yes, you are."
Yeah,
And a couple of them say, "And I know you. I've never seen you this bad." And I'm like, "I know. It was tough, but we made it through it." And afterwards, they were like, "Man, we really appreciate you. Hopefully your day gets better." And I saw them later on that evening. I'm like, "Man, I finally picked it up. I'm here now." And so it's things like that officials just need to understand, because really and truly, everyone that's in that gym are humans.
Yeah.
And I think you have to become human when you kind of break the veil and have that, interaction.
Yeah. I've never officiated a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
I've never coached a perfect game. I've never played a perfect game. So the thing about basketball, it's never perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Or sports, period.
Right.
There's no such thing as a perfect game. If there was, you wouldn't need officials.
Mm-hmm.
For starters, but it's not like that. And we just need to understand that.
And so, Kevin, you being here talking to us is a blessing in itself, but really a truly blessing more than anyone watching this would know. And we just want you to, give your testimony, give your glory to God, if you reveal whatever you want to. Maybe it can help somebody that's watching this, give them inspiration or motivation from any health issue or anything in life that they're struggling with.
Well, as you know, it was really 2018. I got diagnosed with cancer, and it was throat cancer. And it was really weird because I was just talking to a friend of mine, and actually he's passed away since then. His name was Don Young. He was an official also.
Okay.
And but we were at work. We were both senior accountants for UPS. We were talking one morning, and I started coughing. My throat had been hurting for about 2 months. And we were talking, and I started coughing. I coughed up blood, and he was like, "Man, you need to go to the doctor." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna listen to you, and I'm going." This was on a Wednesday. I got the appointment set up, went on a Friday. And what was really weird is the doctor was like, I think I know what it is, but I can't say. And I don't know, for some reason, I knew exactly what he was saying, And he said, "But I'm going to see if I can get you an MRI." I was like, okay. So my first thought is, MRI, I'm going to have to come back in 2 weeks or whatever.
He did it right then.
He sent me right around the corner, like walking distance. I mean, like that building's there. I went to that building, got an MRI that day, and they say, "Okay, well, we'll get you the results back." And I'm thinking, okay, MRI results going to take Monday. This was on a Friday. Monday, I had the results, and and it was cancerous.
So it was like the lymph nodes, or
all right, you're getting over my head.
Okay,
you get over my head.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. At that time, I'm dizzy.
Okay.
And then when they started talking to me, everything was way
over
my head.
Right.
I'm just all everywhere. Because when you hear cancer, you think, all I could think of was, death.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm all over the place. And but anyway, so I ended up going to UT Southwestern. I found out, I'm asking, what's the best place to go? What do I need to do? It was like, up here, At first they were like, go to Houston. That's where you need to go. But I'm like, I can't be going back and forth to Houston. They say, well, UT Southwest. So I go, and they did a biopsy, and it was cancerous. So, so May 3rd is, I went in and had surgery to have it removed, and so from that point, had surgery. Then I had to do radiation, which what was it? 33 treatments of radiation on my neck. That was a little difficult. I was a little down, but the way I see it, sometimes people ask why me, and I've gotten to the point about things. It's like, why not me? And what I mean by that is, and this is really funny. Have you heard of the comedian Dion Cole? Okay, Dion Cole was talking about. He has a joke where he says he was on his way to a job interview, right? But he walked out of the house and he forgot his keys. And then he said the first thing he did was turn around and said, "Thank you, Lord." And of course, that made everybody wonder. And he said, "Thank you for me for getting my keys, because if I hadn't forgotten my keys, I might would have been 10 minutes earlier, and I'd have been in that wreck up there and got hit by a truck and died." I didn't get the job, but I'm not dead.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one of those things where instead of, why me? Why not me? Guess what? I got diagnosed with cancer. And mind you, I've been to the hospital once before then, and I was a senior in high school, and I had what's called, it sounds bad, but it's not really bad. It's called inflamed heart, but it wasn't. And all it was gas around my heart. When I bent over, I was hurting, and they just gave me some stuff. And honestly, all it did was make me fart, and it went away. You know, that's the only time I'd ever been to the hospital for anything until then. And mind you, that was 2018. So that made me be 56 years old. Never been to the hospital, played sports, you know, all my life, and never been to the hospital. So that's a blessing within itself. So, and I guess the why not me part is, well, I had cancer, and look at me now. I'm living to talk about it.
Right.
You know, I survived to talk about it. Now I had the radiation, and this is really wild because, as you know, I coach at Paris Episcopal School. The radiation, and they told me it would mess with my gums and see my teeth. That's why right now. And now I can't get implants because my gums are so weak. I get implants. They could stay in 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Yeah. There's no guarantee. So, but we're working on getting dentures now. So I'll be able to get dentures. So I'm going through that. But before I could get them, they had to restore all different things with them in my mouth. So back to the point about the why not me? Well, I started working, and actually I still had teeth. My first official meeting at Paris, we were eating Cane's chicken. Bit down on Cane's.
It was a wrap.
It was a wrap. There go a tooth. Gone. Right? And then, you know, and then it just started coming from there. But the kids at Paris, right, at first, you know, they saw that and they were like, you know how kids are.
Right, yeah.
And then then they saw a picture of me before, they was like,
what
and
happened?
I told them about the cancer, and now they look at cancer and things in a different way. Right. You know, they look at lots of things different just off of just things like that, and me being around them, me becoming my journey becoming a testament to them, a testimony to them. It's had them looking at things totally different. And I guess once again, you know, why not me? Why I can't be the one to tell my story to someone else? Okay, where if I never would have had this and I'm just going perfect, then I don't have a story to tell. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Okay, so you know, so to me, that's a good thing. I tell everyone, you know, for me to be here and be seen every day, that's a testament within itself. Right. And you know, and I'm thankful of that. And that's why I keep doing what I do and keep moving forward. And I think that's why it's hard. It's really, really hard for me to get angry and upset. It's really, really hard because there's so much more to look forward to and so much other things that's going on to get upset about something. And another friend of mine, y'all know Gary Dotson, Dot? I'm sure you do. You've seen him around. Yeah, it's Elder Dotson. We partner up with the Junior NBA League and and actually on my tournaments. He's silent with it, but we partner up on it. And he always makes a statement that another person cannot upset him enough to want to fight him, for him to want to fight another person. Okay. And the more that I had thought about that, and because I couldn't understand it. But he's like, if someone says something to you that makes you want to fight them, you have no self-control. And so what I'm getting to is, after everything that I experienced, it kind of helped me gain an understanding of self-control. Of, why would I for the most part beat cancer? Right. Here it is 5 years later, and I'm still here. So, whatever happens after this, I beat cancer for 5 years. Right. Okay. So how can I be out of control when God has given me this opportunity to move forward and to tell my story, and me getting upset with you may keep you from telling your story, if that makes sense. You know, and it's just little things like that, man, that I'm just thankful for. And you know, and actually I'm able to, it seems like to me that I've grown in the basketball world, in the sporting world since then. You know, and I do believe, and this is, that's funny that this is all coming up now. The guy I was telling you about, the one that told me to go to the doctor, who's now deceased, and the last thing we talked about, I talked to him. He passed away on the basketball court.
Oh, he was the ref that.
That was the ref. Was that him?
That's the ref that had the heart attack.
That's what I was thinking that when he was telling me.
And what's crazy is I was supposed to be on the court with him, and I told him, "Nah, I'm going to go coach my kids." I was. They weren't even a team. I was just training these kids, and I said, "No, I'm going to go train these kids." You know, this morning, and he told me, he said, "Man, you need to do what you say you're gonna do." He said, "Man, you have these brilliant ideas." He said, "You need to do stick with your ideas." And I told him that night, and it's the last time I talked to him, I said, "I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to, you know, when I come up with these ideas, I'm going to move forward on them."
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been moving forward. And you see how Texas Sports Association, it's been around since 2011.
Okay.
And I would give a tournament here, a tournament there, give a few, you know, and then I would stop. And I would always show him my plan, and he'd be like, "Man, you need to go.
You need to execute it."
Execute. And the last thing that we talked about was that. And ever since then, I've really been pushing it, you know. And this year, I have 17 events planned. We'll see what happens. Man. You know, if they go, they go.
Powerful.
It's just that it's that surge of energy, right?
Right.
But it's a real thing, because, you know, we always, you know, talk about the deathbed moment. And when you're on your deathbed, what are the things that you're saying? I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. Right. You experienced it in living form. Right.
Yes.
And now you're having the opportunity to manifest and produce the very things that you want to do, versus taking those things and never bringing them into life.
Right.
And so I believe, you know, that moment, it created that surge of energy for you to be like, you know what, I'm not taking this for granted anymore.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Like, it's time for me to, you know, live out loud and produce and take everything that God has given me and bringing it out into the world. And my pastor, one of the most powerful quotes he always said was, "There's so much greatness in the grave. The greatest ideas have never made it to life, because somebody took it with them. They didn't have the courage, they didn't have the time, they didn't have the resource, or whatever it is to bring it out, right? And you're doing it. You're doing it at a high level, and, you know, we're grateful to be, you know, have known you for so long, and knowing you and seeing you grow and evolve, and your kids grow and evolve, and, you know, you're at Parish doing great things, and your kids are involved over there. So it's a beautiful thing to just see, you know, everything that, you know, God is doing with you and your brand, and it's going to a different level. So that's amazing, man. Really
and then with Texas Sports, just to give a little commercial or plug, what events y'all have coming up?
In 2 weeks, March 3rd through 5th, we have our Texas tip off. And we need people out there. We need Kingdom out there, and whoever else. It's gonna be a great event. You know, we work with people. We give discounts. We give some of the best awards out there. We do trophies. We do T-shirts. We just come out and just give people stuff. We just go through the crowd and just give people stuff. We give the kids lots of stuff, just off the, you know, just bam, here, take this, here, take that, because, you know, we want it to be an experience for them.
Right.
You know, some kids never play after high school. Some of them never play after junior high, but they need to experience good things that to happen to them. Then another event, it's a girls only event that's real good. It's our we call it's an Easter bump. It's a Saturday only event, girls only. We give that over at Paris. It's a 1-day event. But yeah, our website, TexasSportsAssociation.com. We're on Instagram, Texas Sports Association, Facebook, and everything is Texas Sports Association. But again, we're on all the social media sites, and so check us out. Come to our events. When you come to an event,
a Texas Sports Association
Texas Sports Association event, you will want to come back because we try to do things right. We take suggestions because we are in it for everyone to have fun. And when we say everyone, we mean everyone: players, coaches, moms and dads, grandmom, granddads, officials. We just want it to be a festive time for all, because for the youth of our community, and just really for our community as a whole, even the adults, it's about having a good time with each other and celebrating each other while we have a chance to. That's really what it's about.
That's big, man. That's big, man. So to wrap it up, how is the Kingdom community having an impact on you?
From everything, man. Look, from the crossover to the Berta match to what is it? Landmark?
Yeah, Landmark.
From now it's called the Cent Church, but what was it? United Methodist.
Spring Creek Community Church.
Yeah,
Spring Creek Community Church. From what's that? Friday nights.
Yeah.
Oh man, some of everything. Lifetime.
Yeah, Lifetime.
Shoot, man. Just everything, man. Y'all just been there, and I always been open, open arms where, brother come in and, like we were talking about before, come in and work out, bring people to work out, do things, And what I will say this, and this is something we didn't talk about. Maybe I can come back and we can talk about this. Where we had talked about partnering with each other, and not just us partnering with each other, but the community of basketball acquaintances partnering with each other to do different things, because the strengths that you have and that I have are different. Your strengths could help me with my weaknesses, and the same here. So, I know we've heard before, what's that? 2 minds are better than one, or something like that.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron, and all of that stuff, man. And I think it would be a good thing, to bounce things off for everyone, because I've also heard that no one does anything great by themselves. LeBron James is now the leading scorer of all time, but he had to have someone pass him the ball, rebounding the ball, getting it for him. He didn't do it by himself. And so it's the same thing.
That's it, man. We appreciate you, man. We love you, and
love you too,
looking forward to great things in the future, my guy.
We got to do part 2. We'll bring it back for part 2.
That's great, man.
Great. All right.
Wonderful.
Appreciate
y'all.
Appreciate it, brother. Yes, sir.
All right. God bless.
Thank you.